It didn't start with a dramatic raid. It didn't begin with flashing lights or handcuffs. It started quietly with paperwork. Numbers on routine forms that, at first glance, appeared ordinary. But when reviewed together, they didn't quite add up. During national emergencies, when the U.S. government distributes aid at unprecedented speed to keep families afloat and businesses alive, the system depends on trust and accountability. This documentary examines how federal investigators identify and investigate alleged fraud in emergency relief programs, using audits, data analysis, and financial records. All examples shown are anonymized and illustrative, based on publicly reported federal cases. No individual or community is being accused. During national crises, government systems are designed to prioritize speed over absolute perfection, a deliberate trade-off meant to deliver help when it is needed most. In 2020, Congress passed the CARES Act, authorizing trillions of dollars in emergency relief to stabilize the economy during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I'm proud to yield 1 minute to the gentleman from Kansas, Mr. Estes.
Gentleman from Kansas is recognized for 1 minute.
Well, thank you. Mr. Speaker, in times like this, I'm inspired by the strength and generosity of people in Kansas and across our nation. However, we know that the coronavirus outbreak has impacted hardworking Kansans, their families, and their friends and relatives across the country. Wichita is the air capital of the world. In our area, we've already been hit hard by the grounding due to the 737 MAX issues. But now small businesses are facing uncertainty as Kansans have been asked to stay at home, not knowing when they can resume operations again. Today, I rise in behalf of workers and families in Kansas who need Congress to get this right. Every minute we spend trying to politicize this crisis wastes official time and hurts Americans. We should focus on what really matters, offering stability to families that need it and getting America back open for business again. The CARES Act assists small businesses and distressed industries, giving families and unemployed workers the financial means to make it to the other side of this crisis, and ensures that job creators are positioned to keep paying their workers and rehire those who've been laid off when we recover. Kansans and Americans across the country.
Gentleman's time is expired. The gentleman from Texas reserves, the gentleman from Maryland.
Programs like the Paycheck Protection Program, or PPP, provided forgivable loans to small businesses to help cover payroll and retain employees. The Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, known as EIDL, offered low-interest loans and advances to help businesses survive sudden revenue losses. Direct stimulus payments were sent to individuals and families, often arriving within days. According to the Small Business Administration, more than 11 million PPP loans were approved, totaling over $800 billion. These programs were essential and overwhelmingly used correctly. But rapid distribution meant many applications relied on self-reported information, with limited upfront verification. The rules were clear. Funds were restricted to specific uses, and every dollar was expected to leave a verifiable paper trail through bank records, tax filings, and audits. In that urgency, small gaps emerged, gaps that a minority of applicants would later exploit. Auditors and analysts don't look for villains. They look for patterns. As applications accumulated, certain submissions began to stand out. Identical language appearing across unrelated businesses. The same employee counts repeated again and again. Loss figures that didn't align with broader economic data. In some instances, multiple applications traced back to the same addresses, email domains, or IP ranges. On their own, many of these applications appeared legitimate. They included tax identification numbers, payroll summaries, and bank statements. But when viewed collectively using data analytics tools, the repetition became difficult to ignore. According to Department of Justice press releases, investigators in several publicly documented cases later alleged that falsified applications were submitted for non-existent or ineligible businesses, with funds diverted for personal use. Fraud rarely announces itself loudly. It hides inconsistency in submissions that look a little too perfect. Federal fraud investigations do not begin with accusations or assumptions. They begin with audits. Bank records are subpoenaed to trace how funds move after disbursement. Tax filings are cross-checked for inconsistencies in reported income and payroll. Wire transfers, withdrawals, and purchases are mapped in sequence. Phone and IP metadata help identify coordinated submissions. Investigators from agencies such as the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the SBA Office of Inspector General follow the evidence, not names, not neighborhoods, but transactions. According to court filings, this process has uncovered shell companies with no real employees, fabricated payroll documentation, and relief funds redirected to ineligible expenses. The system is designed so that even small discrepancies, when repeated, create a record that becomes increasingly difficult to explain. Once discrepancies are verified through extensive cross-checking, cases escalate methodically. Subpoenas compel financial institutions to release additional records. Accounts may be frozen to prevent further loss. Federal indictments may follow alleging offenses such as wire fraud, false statements, or money laundering under federal statutes. Court proceedings outline the scope of alleged misconduct and allow evidence to be tested through the legal process. According to publicly available sentencing data, individuals convicted in relief fraud cases have faced prison sentences, restitution orders, and forfeiture of assets. The response is measured, deliberate, and designed to deter future abuse, not through spectacle, but through accountability. Fraud and relief programs doesn't only affect government balance sheets, it affects real people. When abuse is detected, programs tighten, verification increases, processing slows. Legitimate small businesses may face delays or denials as safeguards expand. Trust erodes, not because help was wrong, but because misuse forces caution. According to analyses by the Government Accountability Office and the Associated Press, federal investigators estimate that hundreds of billions of dollars in pandemic relief may have been lost to fraud. The consequences for those found guilty are lasting: incarceration, restitution, asset seizure, debarment from future programs, and long-term barriers to employment and housing. Enforcement is not simply punishment, it is protection for taxpayers, for communities, and for the integrity of future aid efforts. This story is not about where someone comes from. It is about responsibility and what happens when it is ignored. Relief programs exist to provide genuine help in times of crisis, but they rely on honesty, transparency, and accurate reporting. Federal systems retain records long after emergencies pass, and eventually, every dollar must account for itself. When it cannot, the paper trail leads back, not to punish indiscriminately, but to uphold trust in systems designed to help us all.